Shalom, shalom, all esteem belongs to Abba Yahuwah, the most majestic one. We back again for another truth-telling session. Yes, sir, yes, ma'am. We's back again to tell the truth, to get into a fight with the lawless one, to get into a fight with the enemy. Excited. I hope y'all all are doing well out there in this season of judgment falling on the earth. This season of awakening, the season of separation, revelation, confirmation, preservation, all the Asians. Who will be esteemed for his wonderful work that he is doing for us, that he's doing through us. I'm excited for this time. The storms are still raging, still going through challenges, still facing hard times. Don't let the internet fool you. Anybody that's walking with Abba Yahuwah is going through something. They're going through something in this dying age. It hasn't changed. We get our little times to be able to breathe, if you will, some shorter than others. But this is the season of endurance, the season of holding fast. And if you ain't going through nothing and you ain't got nothing to hold on to, you don't need to endure if you're not going through anything. Yeah, this is that season right here. Those who endure to the end will be delivered. Those who endure to the end will see the deliverance of Abba Yahuwah. This is where we're at right now. We're in the season of endurance. I can tell you how many times I want to just stop. Stop. Just go another route. But Yahuwah kept on wheeling me back in. Sometimes it's during chastisement. Other times it's during visions. Other times it's a word of encouragement, a word of rebuke. But that's his will, right? He chastises those whom he loves. He speaks to those who are his. He encourages his people. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes you want to quit. Sometimes you want to just throw in the towel. But imagine if you did that, right? Imagine if you actually gave up, you threw in the towel. Think about what will happen. The truth is, if you threw in the towel, then all this hell you done been through would be for nothing. Nothing at all. It would have been a total waste. Yeah. It would have been a total waste. So we don't want to waste this time. We don't want to waste this hour. We want to get the most out of this. We want to get some divine favor out of this. We want some well done, my good and loyal servant, for enduring to the end, being steadfast, holding fast to the realities that he who promised is loyal. He is steadfast. He cannot deny his word. He cannot forsake his promises, and he sure cannot make his name look bad. And this is something we have to take to heart when we're going through these hard times, these struggles, and these setbacks. At the end of the day, we have to see it beyond simply just going through stuff. We have to look at it from the reality of he is preparing us so that we can be received by him. And the only way to do that is to go through. You go through the fire to burn away those contaminants. You go through the purge to cut away, to remove those things that are holding you back. A real detox is not easy, but the benefits is amazing. When you finally purge yourself of the perspectives, the views, the ideologies of the world. Yeah, I've been going through some storms. Believe that. Believe that. I know sometimes we get on here, we don't talk about our testimonies, or we look around on the nets and we see these people perpetrating or displaying these so-called lives of amazement, so-called successful lives. But I'm not one of the people to tell you that nonsense. I'd rather just let you know the truth. We all going through it. But you know what? Keep going. This too will pass. It came to pass. It's only going to pass if you keep going. You can't find no spot in that comfortable spot in that mud, a comfortable spot in the place that you were never called to stay. You got to keep moving in his truth, in the word, mentally, emotionally, physically, to arrive where he has called us to go. Yeah, I got a lot of people that's talking that grease on social media. You know, today we in the age of keyboard warriors. Everybody get behind the screen and all of a sudden they get to tapping and just bumping their yapper about what they think, feel, whatnot. I was talking to my wife here earlier today, or this week actually, about how people don't even realize the times that the people walked in the kingdom, the essence of you just simply opening up your mouth. You didn't have that privilege. You didn't have that right. And it wasn't even an expectation among the people. You just couldn't open up and say what you felt. You brought judgment on yourself. A lot of people at the end of the day are walking dead anyways. They're just waiting on their time to expire. But yeah, those challenges are very frequent. But it's good that you go through it. As King David said, it's good that I was afflicted, that I may learn your statutes, that I may learn how you want me to live and walk. Gotta go through it. Gotta go through them storms, and I'm grateful for them. And I haven't always been grateful for my storms. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. Just like them people tell me, oh, I'm happily married for 45 years. Stop your lying. Yeah. If you was happy for marriage 45 years, and your marriage is obviously an illusion. Relationships, storms, trials, time periods, extended time periods, challenges you, challenges your belief, challenges your walk, it challenges your character. You're supposed to be challenged. That nonsense they taught in church and everywhere else, where all of a sudden you say JC and he gonna make it all right. Yeah, well, it's been quite a few years since I left church, and I still ain't had it made all right. Yes. Yes. All esteemed Abba, who I see are coming in the comment section. Who will be esteemed for leading you and allowing you to join us on these evil platforms, Tyrannical Tube, Instacrack, and Fedbook. That's where we pretty much stream at. Yeah, I get shadow banned, I get accounts deleted, so forth and so on. And that's all good. It's all good. You're supposed to have deleted accounts if you a sent messenger of Yahuwah. You're supposed to have shadow ban posts. You're supposed to be sent messages that says you are going against our community standards. Why? The world hates light. These systems are built by men of darkness. They're not built by people who pursue, who are after, who project the light of Abba Yahuwah. They project the night, the vile, the wicked. Hypocritically, they do such. So ask yourself, all these so-called truth tellers out here, how come they ain't never getting their accounts blocked? How come their posts not getting taken down? They got to make sure it meets the standards of the community that doesn't even exist. When the last time you've been to a social media community? Yeah, where's the address? Because I still haven't found it yet. Where's the location? But they got standards for a location that you can't even put your foot on. You can't even drive to. Man, if that ain't an illusion. But Yahuwah be esteemed for allowing us to be able to utilize these platforms to send truth out despite the suppression of righteousness by the wicked. We got a powerful word today. We ready to fight the devil, the lies, the deception, the falsehood, the pretend junk. We getting ready to fight, so I hope you brought your fighting gloves, your kingdom, fighting the devil's kingdom gloves, and your Shemayim thinking caps. We're going to eradicate some lies with the truth. Not going to make nothing up. It's hard to make stuff up. Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to lie a lot. My mama would tell you, I was a very young and professional liar. And I could tell you the work that I had to do to hold on to that doggone lie was tremendous. It wore me out every time. I tell a lie, then darn, I forget the darn lie. So then I got to try to go back to something that sounds like the lie. And after I tell that lie, I got to make up another lie to hold on to the previous lie. And I'm just going on down the list. By the time I get to my final lie, I done forgot what the heck I was lying about. It's just so much easier just to tell the truth. I don't care if people don't like what you go. My daddy used to say, you cannot lose anything by telling the truth, and you can't gain anything by lying. Of course, I didn't want to hear that then, but man, it makes so much sense now. It's so much work to try to craft and cater a story so that people who don't even really like you, don't care about you, can accept your doggone your story, you know. All these facades out here creating all these illusions of what they have done, do, called to do, such and such, and so forth. So man, you know, one thing I hated too is as I started to mature in life, I came to the realization, and I thank Yahuwah for this, because my father putting that belt on my butt. But I hated looking over my darn shoulder. Yeah, when I used to come home from school, and I was, you know, I used to raise hell at school. I didn't go to class. I didn't do my work, throwing paper balls and you name it. I wasn't I wasn't trying to tag on the walls or write, spray paint on the walls or gangbang or anything like that for the most part. But I didn't want to go to school. I hated that place. I still hate it to this very day. It's called indoctrination camps. But nevertheless, my response was off, and they would get me in trouble. So I'd walk from the bus stop to the house, and tell you, sometimes them walks felt like I had to walk. I was walking a long desert route, all to end up at a place where there's gonna be no water or nothing. Right? Yeah. And he used to get on me every time. Every time he used to get on me. And I appreciate that now as an adult, because I realize he was helping me build what's called integrity. Yes. Integrity, being able to do the right thing when nobody's looking. And the stress that you reduce, alleviate, get rid of, when you don't have to look over your shoulder wondering if somebody gonna come knocking on your door for something that you did. I could not stand that type of mentality. I want to be able to have some type of serenity in my mind when the day is done. I don't want to be wondering, man, are they gonna finally come get me? Is they finally gonna, file the case? Are they gonna finally find out? Forget that mess. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All esteem belongs to Abi Yahuwah. So we're gonna get into this truth today. Eradicate the lie, expose the deception, and hold fast to what is righteous, what is sustaining the word. Explain it. Let the word explain history. We got straight talk. This is part 11, a series where we just kind of go, blunt, straight to the point. Really, with all the studies are like that. It's just probably just another little, I don't know, segment series, if you will. But at the end of the day, this is part 11. We're going to get into what they feared. This is what they really, 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 really feared. So many ideas today, again, about what people fear about the so-called black man and the races and what may look like the giant rising. We're going to talk about that today. But yeah, we're going to talk about what the words say. We're going to show you the lie, and we're going to tell you, we're going to let the truth bring that to fruition. Because ain't nothing worse than walking around believing something that ain't even, they can't be sustained by the word. That cannot be sustained by truth. But as always, you know, we're getting this, this is our theme that we're holding fast to. Some of you are new to the theme. This is the theme that I'm holding dear to my heart, because I believe it with every fiber of my being, is the hell with this age. Yes. Happy prep day. We're prepping for the Shabbat where we're located at. Some of you are already in your Shabbat. Some of you are passing it because of the time zone in which you in. But nevertheless, the hell with this season, the age of Esau, which is the age where the flesh is given precedence over the inner being, which you will hear called the church and or called the spirit in churches. We call it the inner being or the breath. The hell with this age. Done with it. It ain't gonna do nothing but make you more stressed out, cause you to sin more, all to put you in a place of judgment. Making also announcement we made last week. Today is the release of the book Yahuwah has led me to write. It's available today. When a man is fed up, rebuilding the man you were created to be. All right, you can get your copy today. Visit moviemindsetministry.org. When a man is fed up, and you do got to put those dashes in there if you're trying to go from their direct link here, or unless you go to the website, then you click on the actual tab that says When a Man is Fed Up. It's also available on Amazon, hard copy as well as a paperback. So you can get discounted copy of the book from the website. Amazon's a little more expensive. I did get some pre-orders. Who will be esteemed for that. So those orders will be shipped out here soon. Just know that with all the supposed storm that's taking place out there, we are actually waiting for the some of the orders to arrive because of things being backed up because of the so-called storm. But if you haven't already checked it out, this book is definitely a book for men of all areas of life. Serving time, father, single father, you work in the corporate field, you're a messenger, you are a teenage young man coming into adulthood, elderly, been around for, you're seasoned, you've been around for a bit. It's a great book. It speaks to the heart, from the heart of actual experiences, not just made up stuff, right? No storytelling, but actual experiences that led to that through trials, through tribulations, through good times, through happy times, to really bring to light how we ought to navigate this life as men, truly being the men Yahuwah created us to be. So much against men today, especially the men who are supposed to stand on the front lines of truth, trying to demasculate men, trying to downplay their role, put them in places of weakness and so forth and so on. So we've eradicated the whole scoop according to the word, being a man of Abba Yahuwah. He said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. That's important. That's really important today. And what's even more important is that they're trying to twist the likeness of Abba Yahuwah. So this book gets you to understand how he wants you to be that man, right? Do you need this book to be a man? Absolutely not. Yahuwah can take you through things that just like he took me through. But this book is a come back, testify type experience. Come back, help navigate. When Hashatan said, when Yahusha spoke to Kepha, he said, Simon, Simon, Satan seeks to sift you as wheat, to separate the wheat from the chaff, which is a very hard, brutal, shaking process. He said he comes to sift you. He said, but when you have went through that trial, when you have went through that test, he said, go back and strengthen your brothers. Go back and strengthen those who are coming behind you. Strengthen those who are coming into the truth, coming into the way, growing up as becoming men. And that's what this book is about. So again, serving time, single father, not married, divorced, you name it. We putting it all into one to help you out according to the word. All right, Yahuwah will be esteemed. So let's get into a very phenomenal topic that's growing, festering, if you will, in the world, in the way the world is perpetuating judgment and so forth and so on. I remember when I was coming out of what do you call that? Military, law enforcement, and all that stuff, right? It was at a critical time because the world was already in this shift of, corrupt politicians being exposed and the political nonsense. And it wasn't long after I had where the what do you call that? The pandemic happened, right? Yep. So when I finally had departed, I was working in a gym, and I started seeing all these preparation guides from FEMA and different organizations about how to get ready for a potential judgment or a potential catastrophic events, right? And one of the things that they would say is have enough to prepare. Initially, I saw have enough to prepare to sustain yourself for 3 to 6 days. And as I paid attention to these different, because you have a lot of so-called preppers out there that get on social media, and because my algorithm was already set up on military stuff, tactical stuff, so forth and so on, this stuff would show up in my algorithm. And I would see the transition from 3 to 6 days, and it went on to like 3 to 6 weeks, right? And obviously, if people are following these guidances given by the experts, they're going to follow what they're saying, right? But interestingly enough, what I've come to find out is that the goalpost keeps moving. And the reason it keeps moving because at the end of the day, it's about you moving with the goalposts, right? It's not you having a definitive about what's happening. And this right here is a key example of this reality, right? Now they're saying that that the U.S. faces a potential 18-month blackout scenario. So I started thinking about this more today than ever because I saw someone share this as well. People sharing it more than once, right? And what's so interesting is that how many of these people who were on the 2-day to 6-day or the 3-day to 6-day to the 3-week to the 6-week program now are trying to do the math and the strategy to see how they're going to do 18 months. Do you know this is deliberate by design? All this is by design. We're going to expose this nonsense with the word, but just know it's by design. Nothing you see perpetuated in the media, social media, mainstream media is by accident. They're not warning you. They're not trying to prepare you. It's all deliberate by design. Stop listening to the fear-mongering Gentiles and the terrified Hebrews. Stop. We talked about this last week. If you listen to a messenger who comes in their own name, you're going to receive the reward of that messenger. Okay? This is where a lot of people's fears is coming from. And I'm talking not just about the news or, doomsday preppers. I'm talking about those who even come in the name of Yahuwah. I saw this, these Hebrew Israelites they got a page. I don't remember the name of it. Something like Hebrew Israelite preppers, or we the Israelite preppers, or something like that. Right. So they were taking people through strategies of what they should do to prepare. So my question would be, how are they going to prepare for a 6-month or 18-month power outage? How are you going to prepare for that? People say, well, you got a homestead. You got to do this, you got to do that. They have all these strategies. What about the person, you homestead, but what about the person who lives in an apartment and they're barely financially making it? They don't have the means to go buy land, build a farm, and how are they going to endure the 18 months? They're just hit, huh? Right? They don't have no connections. I can tell you, I don't have no land like that. I don't have no storage of a supply stocked up for an 18-month collapse, 18 months swan event, black swan. That's what they call it. You can look that up later. Surely Yahuwah does nothing unless he reveals his secret to his servants, the messengers. Amos 3:7. This is where a lot of people miss it. And a lot of people don't like when someone comes out and says, stop listening to all these other messengers. Why? Well, the idea that they have in the natural thought led by the flesh is that, oh, you're just being hateful or you're jealous. They try to make it about you being against the person that you're saying stop listening to. I get this a lot, right? But that just goes to shows you the ignorance of the person who believes that redunculousness, because obviously they don't know the word, or they read it, they don't understand what they read, or they just don't read it at all. But you go throughout the word very consistently, and you see there was always more messengers Yahuwah never sent than those he truly did send. And he did not a single thing without first revealing it to the very people he sent. Before he went to bring the people out of ancient Egypt, he told Moshe his plans. Okay. Before judgment fell on the southern kingdom, Yahuwah had revealed his plans, right? And he spoke to his messengers, and his messengers went and spoke to the people. Today, a lot of people got their ears tuned in to everybody, almost like a lottery, right? If I just play these numbers right, hey, when something happens, I should be able to hit big, right? Somebody's going to give me the right information when something happens, or the hope is before it happens. If Yahuwah only speaks to his messengers, again, his messengers, before he acts, where are the wicked getting their predictions? You ever thought about that? I mean, on the simplest things that we have been conditioned to call normal almost our entire lives. I'm going to use one perfect example for you, and you probably can receive it just that quick. The weather. How do these people who reject everything from the chosen to the word to the times we living in can tell you that 10 days from now, it's going to be this degrees, it's going to rain, it's going to do such and such? How do they know that? Yahuwah don't speak to him. The word says this very clearly. We see the consistency of this declaration demonstrated several times in the word. So how do these people who are not his messengers get to tell you what's coming? How do they know? Who are they listening to? From the weather channel to the people who even coming in the name of Yahuwah. How do they know what's really coming? If anyone comes to you and does not bring this doctrine, do not receive him into your house, nor greet him. For he who greets him shares in his evil deeds. This is Second Yahuwah to John, chapter 1, verse 10 through 11. This isn't a New Testament revelation. This is a consistency all throughout the word. Yahuwah had told his people, before you get in the land, don't practice their ways. Don't accept they fake mighty ones. Don't do the things that they do. Don't worship the way they worship. He said, don't receive the people who come in a different belief system. If they're not willing to turn, forget it. If they're not willing to reject, forget it. If they come bringing something contrary, close your door. Do not open your hand and receive, greet that individual, or you will practice in their ways. And many people are doing that as we speak. Again, the 18-month blackout is what they're saying is going to happen, right? And there's already supposed to have been one city without no power for a week or so. That's been going on. So what do people do? What do you do? Be honest with yourself. You see this on the news. What do you do? See, the difference between the ancient day And now is, you know, someone bringing another doctrine ain't knocking at your door. It's on your phone. It's on your TV, your tablet, your laptop. Yeah. You read it, you hear it, you are perpetuating it, and you receive it into your home. And before you know it, boom, you are now on the strategy that the people are given you to endure what they said is coming. Right? Yeah. Before judgment, Noah built an ark. Yehoshua or Jehoshaphat used Egypt's resources. Lot fled Solomon. Yasharal stayed under the blood-marked doors. Rahab gathered her household inside. Obadiah hid 100 messengers in caves and supplied them with bread and water. Those in Jerusalem were told to flee. Every time judgment came upon the earth, the nations, the kingdom, the people, and there were righteous ones among them. There were obedient people among them. There were those whom Yahuwah had purposed to preserve. Wherever that judgment was, he had already decided to give them an exit route or a place of protection or provision in the midst of the judgment. Yes. So the question is, who are you listening to? Where are you getting your strategies from? And how do you plan on navigate whatever the people in this world are perpetuating or claiming that's going to come to pass? Yeah, it's a good question, right? Something Yahuwah had dropped on me very clearly. But none of this, however, every single direction given to the chosen people always and explicitly came from a true sent messenger of Yahuwah or himself, not the wicked nor the rebels. I hope you receive that. I really hope you do. Again, everybody's we live in the day and age where pride is at its highest peak. And it's so subtle. It's so subtle and acceptable that people don't even realize it's pride. Right? They don't believe that someone can tell them stop listening to somebody. They don't believe someone can ask them, why are you following this strategy? They don't like you to tell them, go test the testimony of the messenger. That's pride. That's pride. The devil will tell them the devil will allow them to hear that those guidances and then turn and flip it and say, well, I don't have to listen to anybody. I'm just trying to grow. Right? Subtle, acceptable, but manipulative responses to make it seem okay to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Isn't that exactly what Eve did? The word said that Yahuwah made it very plain to her and her man, don't y'all do that. Stay away from the tree of the knowledge of good. Do not go into the midst of the garden and eat from that tree. But here come the serpent. What did he speak to? He didn't speak to the law. He did not speak to the repentance. He didn't speak to obedience. He spoke to the flesh of Eve. And the word said that it was pleasing to what she was looking at. Pleasing to her eyes. Because her eyes was not on the prize that comes from being obedient. So she basically conjured up in her mind that it's okay. It's going to be all right. I'm not going to die. I can do what I want to do. Yeah, that same pride has saturated the earth. And truly resting heavy upon even the people who say Yahuwah. Again, this is why people are navigating. They're not going out stocking up on foods and waters and supplies because that's kind of a natural thing to do. Nope, they went in, they allowed to come into their house, they greeted a messenger, a doctrine, which is a belief system about the supposed judgment that the world pronounced. You didn't hear it from Yahuwah. You didn't hear it from him. You heard it from Fox News. You heard it from Joe Schmo's ministry of what's coming and what you need to do to get ready. So now you are moving in a strategy in order to sustain yourself by way of a means that never came from Yahuwah. People say, well, why don't you that just it's come on, let's just be logical, brother. You know you need to go ahead and prep because look what happened over here, look what happened over there. Of course you need to prepare. Of course you need to get ready. But how are you doing it? Who told you how to do it? That discernment is something else, ain't it? But see, that's the thing. It's discernment. It's not, instant decision making. It's not emotional decision making. It is truth-based decision making. And it takes for you to be patient. It takes for you to be honest with the way you're living. And it truly, above all things, takes for you to have a heart that is truly after the heart of him who's sending the judgment. Yes. Yahuwah never leaves his people at the mercy of the guidance of the wicked. Never. Never. And what's so amazing is that every time judgment came and any type of revelation ever went to a nation, a Gentile or a king or anyone that wasn't from the 12 tribes, they didn't even understand what was happening. They couldn't even discern the dream. They couldn't even decipher the message. So what had to happen? Yahuwah had to hold fast to his word. I have committed my counsel, my oracles, my knowledge, my wisdom, my understanding to the house of Yasharah. So here come the house of Yasharah, the called and the sent ones to say, listen, this is what's coming. This is what you need to do to prepare. But no, strategies are all over the net. And I'm telling you, I know, listen, people are looking for the people saying Yahuwah or to the very minimum, Yah, that's telling you how to prepare for what's coming. Don't beat them people, beloved. I'm trying to tell you. Don't beat them people. They are literally preparing. They're literally putting together strategies all to fall under judgment. We're going to talk even more in depth about that, but let's keep strolling along. What happens when the people don't understand the message given? What happens? What does the word show us continually of what a messenger does, whom Yahuwah has sent, when the people don't grasp what was spoken? Today we live in this social media age. It don't matter if the IUIC on the corner, IUSPK on the whatever in the facilities, the preachers in the pulpits, everybody reverts back to or utilizes social media. And because they utilize these platforms, 99% of them have their comment section open. So what happens is someone gets on there and says, I don't understand that. And that didn't make sense to me. Oh, you sound like you was condemning. Oh, you're casting out Gentiles, so forth and so on. And the messenger, if you will, right? The presenter of the teaching reads those comments. Today, people don't simply say it's what Yahuwah has presented to me to give to you. You don't get it. I'm pushing. I'm not going back to revert. Today, it's totally different. The messenger goes back and says, you know what? I don't think I explained that better or good enough. Let me go back and revitalize, revamp. Let me change it up a little bit so that the people can better receive. I hope that this version of the study, this upgraded, this additional, this continuation of the teaching will better help the people grasp what was given. When did a messenger of Yahuwah reshape a message to try to get the people to understand? Show me one. Just one. One messenger in all of the word that gave what Yahuwah said. The people couldn't grasp it, but he came back and said, let me fix it because I see they don't get it. There is no better example in all of the word of the righteous right arm of Abba Yahuwah, who is Yahusha, which means Yahuwah delivers, that shows us clearly what happens when people don't get it. He told parables to the people. They didn't get it. We know they didn't get it because at the end they said, crucify him. They didn't get it, right? Despite the miracles, despite the mass healings, despite the provisions, they said crucify him because they never got it. Did he go back and try to revamp the parable? Did he go back and try to smoothen it out a little bit? You don't even hear him repeating himself. Why? The disciples, the taught ones, asked him, he said, why do you speak to the people in parables? He said, because it is not for them to receive the mysteries of the Shemaim, but you were given the mysteries. Why were they given the mysteries? Because no one comes to the most majestic one to whom the mysteries come unless they are first drawn to his deliverance by him who delivers. That's why their heart couldn't receive it. And if their heart could not receive it, neither could their mind. That's why he didn't try to make sure he craft his speeches in a way that the people was like, listen, I know they're going to get it when I say it this way. Never did that. Yahaskel, Ezekiel, Elijah, Daniel, nobody in the word ever tried to revamp a message for a messenger, the message for the people to receive. That is a note you need to jot down in your eternal thought process. And to help you decipher who are these people out here claiming to be messengers when they keep going back to change the message, alter it, smoothing it over so that the people in the peanut gallery can get it. Don't work like that. Discernment don't come from me. Discernment don't come from you. It don't come from a single person who speaks about the word. Discernment comes solely and explicitly from Yahuwah. And he doesn't give discernment to people who cannot receive it. Period. It doesn't work like that. You can say his name all you want. You can read all you choose to. I don't know how many times I done got on the net and somebody said something redunculous and the person comments said, go read your Bible. If they understood if they understood the truth because they read the Bible, then they never would have said such things with such idiotic display, right? They wouldn't bring forth words that don't even make the bit of sense in the word. Write that down, ingrain that in your inner being, because you're about to see a lot of people. Listen, woo, it happened in 2020. A lot of y'all probably didn't catch this. So many messengers were coming out, speaking, trying to help you navigate the darkness of 2020. How many, I have gotten so many messages now of people who come back on the back end. They, as they say in these corporate meetings, we're going to circle back. They circle back to those messages and they literally changed the message because the people couldn't get it in 2020. When this next massive judgment hit the earth, if there is a favor period after that, you're going to see so many messengers are going to come back and revamp the message they presented. And they're basically going to tell you, if you again have the discernment, they're going to tell you flat out, they are not his messengers. But your iniquities have separated you from your mighty one, and your sins have hidden his face from you so that he will not hear you. Yashayahu, Isaiah 59:2. So let me ask you something. The book of Yashayahu, Isaiah, is the book of deliverance. It's talking about deliverance in a way that solidifies everything about it elaborates and solidifies everything about the return of the righteous right on. It gets to the meticulous details, right? And here's a key one right here. The people cannot hear from him, or excuse me, the word says he doesn't listen to them because of their iniquities, their sins. It's not simply that they have sinned. It's not simply that they have committed iniquity. It's that they have not turned from sin. They continue in iniquity. And because of this rebellious act, Yahuwah has clogged his ears. Doesn't want to hear from them. So if he doesn't want to hear from them, then how in the world is he speaking to them? I'm just saying. If he ain't listening to you, then why he talking to you? Yes. So again, a true messenger of the most majestic one does not go back and revamp the message. to make sure that the people can hear. Because if they didn't grasp it, two things happen. One of two things happen. It wasn't time for them to receive it, or they were not meant to receive it. Period. Not like meant later on, they're not meant to receive it. Why? Repentance. It's the key above all things. Until you flee iniquity, until you turn from them sins you enjoy, you will not hear from him, and he's not listening to you. So when people get on and say, well, I didn't understand that, when it's given in the simplest forms ever. Imagine, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. I cannot imagine going back to redo studies because 15 people said they didn't get it. I don't, yeah. And you get paid as a teacher to go educate students, right? If they didn't get it, you probably want to go back and change the presentation because you may be missing your part as a teacher. But a messenger truly sent by Yahuwah, I'm not changing squat. Thus says Yahuwah means thus says Yahuwah, period. Period. Not one messenger went back and said, thus says Yahuwah. Oh, you didn't get it? Hold on. Let me see if I can change it. No. What he said is what he meant from Yahuwah. This is what he says. That's what it is. Okay. Bond of men, go to the house of Yahshua and speak with my words to them. Yahaskau, Ezekiel 3:4. He didn't say go to the house of Yahshua and tell them what you think, how you feel, what you feel, believe what's going on, what's coming, what you perceive about what's coming. He said, go give them what I have given you to give them. Don't make nothing up. Don't add to it. Don't take from it. Give it explicitly how I have presented it to you. But again, we're talking about messengers, right? You receiving a message from a messenger who comes in his own name, and then you wonder why you're confused, don't understand what's going on, and then you're missing the realities about what's happening, and this this idea that people are scared of black people, right? They're terrified of the black people that's rising up now. Oh, we're gonna get into this truth today. Again, right? This is obviously one of the most extreme depictions you can get of this reality. But the truth is, this is the essence of what people do when they come in their own name. When they present themselves as a messenger of Yahuwah, and Yahuwah never told them to say a single thing to anybody. Okay? Again, we are living in a time, sweeping the earth, especially here in Babylon, where the constant portrayal of the black people being sleeping giants is seeming to come to fruition. Right? You've heard it from the political arena. I don't know if you've heard it before, but it's been spoken in the political arena, the church arena, right? About black people being asleep to who they really are. And if they ever come to know who they truly are, and they wake up to that reality, a giant will be trampling the earth. Is this truly happening right now as we speak? Is the giant rising? It's a good question. Is the giant rising? Let's look at some of the things that help people believe the giant is rising. Black food activists return to the farm, right? This is a big deal right now. This is huge, actually, especially in America. A lot of so-called black people are getting back to farming, planting vegetables, right? Planting trees, taking care of animals, right? Having their own flocks. Homesteading is a big deal. Finding their own land. It's huge right now. It's a big thing. That's happening, right? Looks like the giant's rising. Black employers are reaching new heights. Employers, not employees this time. Employers are reaching new heights. The latest findings on black-owned businesses, right? These are recent articles. This is like all 2026 stuff that I'm going to show you here, okay? Elevating paths to building black wealth through education and entrepreneurship, right? Another March 2026 article. They're elevating the paths. This campaign aims to boost black nonprofit organizations by convincing everyday donors of their power. Ooh, that sounds deep, don't it? Ooh, they got power. We gonna convince these people. Convince. Look, the key words are here. So hopefully you're catching it as we go along. All right. Young black voters buck Democratic old guard. Y'all know what this really means, right? The idea has been long perpetuated that the reason black people struggle so much because they kept voting Democrat, right? I don't remember the president who said it, but he said we would have them Negroes voting Democrat for 1,000 years or something like that, right? The actual president said it. I think it's I can't remember what the guy's name was, but he said that, right? Recorded in history, right? So voting Democrat meant they were voting for EBT, Section 8, food stamps, WIC, poverty, willful captivity, if you will, in the modern age. That's what voting Democrat means to certain political arenas, right? They're bucking it now. Black founders rise. Black founders raise highest amount of quarterly funding since 2022. Right. This is again another May 2026 article. It says, but there's a catch. What's the catch? Now we're about to find out. Y'all remember? Y'all probably old enough to remember the Rodney King beating, right? Four cops that stood that basically was going to town on this brother with billy clubs or batons. They say it now, batons, or while other cops stood around and looked. So it was a huge story, a big deal that really shifted a lot of the ideologies of segregation, police brutality, racism, and so forth and so on in LA. I was around during that time, and I remember looking at the news and seeing all these different uh, portrayals or articles about the protests that were happening. People wanted to know what was going to become of these officers who were clearly doing, you know, treating them like a animal, if you will. Right? It's very plain, it's very evident. But we know that those officers actually were completely acquitted of the charges, right? As if nothing actually happened, nothing took place. Right? They were just doing their job, and that turned the city upside down. Right? It was the straw that broke the camel's back. Rioting, shooting, killing, I mean, you name it, everything you could think of. It was literally a war zone in Los Angeles, California, more particularly South Central LA. Right? The people were going around mad at what was allowed to come out of this case with these officers, so mad that they tore up their own city, right? Enraged that they broke up they burned down their own banks, their own, robbed their own grocery stores. And of course, most of them were owned by people who didn't even live in the community, right? But that was the community they lived in, and they tore it to the ground. And I remember it took some years for certain things to even decide to touch part of these communities to rebuild them. And I mean years from 92. Okay. Apartment complexes, you name it, tore it down over this case. Or at least this case being the catalyst that really swung it into this system. But years later, South Carolina in jury finds store owner not guilty of murder and killing a black teen. Okay, not guilty. When this kid, apparently he assumed that had stole a water bottle, chased him so many yards from the store, and then put some rounds in him, or around, I'm not sure how many it was, and the kid didn't make it. Okay, now what should have happened based on the historical patterns, right? What should have happened is the people should have turned the city upside down and burnt up the store where they went and got their groceries from, right? But that's not the case. This time, a national boycott had exploded, and it's actually gaining massive traction right now. I don't know if you're following this or not. I'm not saying go search it up. This is what's taking place, right? And it's actually taking effect internationally. You have so-called black people in other nations who are saying, hey, we're going to boycott too, right? We're going to stand up. We're going to rally. This almost looks like, you can almost say, the giant looks like it's rising. The tide look like it's turning. The so-called black people look like they're finally getting it together. Instead of tearing up your own city, just don't shop at their stores, right? Don't that really, I mean, it sounds like it changed. I almost got caught with this. But Yahuwah had led me to see that this is not the case. Not so fast, family, not so fast. 35 years ago today, Latasha Harlings, 15, was fatally shot by a Korean shop owner. Soon Jadu, if I'm saying that correctly, over a bottle of orange juice. It became a major spark for the 1992 LA riots. It was a spark, but obviously Rodney King was the actual boom, right? That took it there because this kind of stuff was happening all the time. What did the people do at that time? They boycotted Korean stores. Mm-hmm. They didn't want to stop. We're not shopping at your stores anymore. That's what they did, just like what's being done today, right? Researchers later estimate that Los Angeles as a whole lost at least 3.8 billion in cumulative taxable sales during the decade following the 1992 unrest, okay, compared with the expected trend. So 3 point, that's a lot of money. They lost because of the riots that happened. Again, the young lady who was killed over a bottle of orange juice was part of that, okay? After the boycott in the US, check this out. Check out these numbers, right? From 1997, 45 billion. Go all the way down to 2012. The same Korean businesses they boycotted not only doubled, they increased their businesses almost 50%. They also made profit over 50% from 19 sales, not profit necessarily, but sales. They increased their sales from 97 to 2012. Okay, what happened to the boycott? What happened to the rise of the people saying no more of this stuff? In California, okay, from 10-year difference from 1997 to 2007, 19 billion California estimated sales. Okay, almost close to 50%, and 32.8 billion in California in sales. 10-year span. What happened to we're not shopping there anymore. You killed somebody. They're not coming back. Your store gonna be here, but they're not coming back. So we gonna protest for how long? Yeah, right. The woman that did this atrocity received probation. It was enough conviction, if you will, for the people to say we're gonna protest and we're not gonna shop here no more. The giant is not rising. Do not be fooled. History is repeating itself and judgment is being ignored right now as we speak. After the 1992 LA riots, again, judgment is is falling on the earth and the people are not perceiving what's really happening. AIDS in 1994 had its biggest effect in Los Angeles, California. The same place for the riots, the same place for the protests against the same injustices that the people were fighting against. It was sweeping through like wildfire. It wasn't the only thing tearing down. The riots wasn't the only thing tearing down the people. It was AIDS, HIV. Okay. And then it was so horrific that parents were trying to figure out how to prepare their children, single parents particularly, how to prepare their children to live without them. That's how hard and fast it was sweeping year by year, just in LA alone. Okay. In 1994, it was the peak of the deaths, right? 3,600 or so cases came out, diagnoses. Almost 3,000 died in that year in LA. This is LA. This is not simply, LA. Okay. Blacks have been taught to focus on the oppression and not the inner perdition. Yes. That's all by design. Mm-hmm. When the LA riots happened, I remember the church I used to go to, which is Kojic, West Angeles. They became a safe haven for the people. And they became a pillar and an icon in the community for, a refuge, if you will, trying to get the people to come together, to slow down, to stop, to think, and so forth and so on. But in the midst of all that, I can tell you, I never heard one minister, one preacher, deacon, elder, whoever come out and say, this is the curses falling upon the people. Nope, they spoke about either oppression or they spoke about unity, but they never spoke about true cause and effect. Why are the people going through this trial? Why are they enduring such a horrific experience no matter where they are in our reality. Yahuwah will strike you with consumption, with fever, with inflammation, with severe burning fever, with the sword, with scorching, and with mildew. They will pursue you until you perish. See, this is not what you don't hear this, you know. This is what they weren't saying during the LA riots. They weren't saying this when AIDS was sweeping through LA. Deuteronomy 28:22. People are not even talking about the realities of such right now. They'll utilize this as a, hey, this is my identifier. I'm chosen because of the curses, but they're not getting to the roots of why so many people who claim to be chosen are still living in the curse. Again, history is repeating itself. Nothing is new under the sun. And when people start to grasp that reality, they'll stop dancing to the Pied Piper. Atlanta health advocates target one of the nation's highest HIV rates. This article came out August 2026. The same month, or not the same month, this is this time, the same time the people are protesting against what happened to the kid who they thought stole the water bottle. Someone asked on YouTube, comment and asked, when was the 400-year awakening or the 400-year time frame, because the people are still being oppressed. What people? Why are they being oppressed? And we've covered this before. The word never said that after 400 years, affliction would stop. He said after 400 years, he's going to judge the nation in whom they serve. Then after the judgment is completed, they will come out with great possessions. But see, we're missing. Many people are, with the ideology of the giant is awakening, they are missing the reality that he said, I'm going to make you into a very few people in the nations where I scatter you. That is happening right now as we speak. 2015 to 2022, the overdose mortality rate among Black Americans increased to 249.3%. Basically call it 250% overdose epidemic. It's happening as we speak. 249% increase. Excessive cardiovascular mortality rate of 110.4 deaths per 100,000. American College of Cardiology, June 19th, 2026. History is repeating itself. Judgment is falling on the earth. And most people who claim to be chosen can't even see it. Does this look like a giant has risen? What a ridiculous ideology with no context whatsoever. Do not be fooled. They do not fear you because they want to be you. This is the awakening, the false awakening version given by the IUIC, the IUSPK, and so many other so-called Black advocate groups. The nations hate you. They hate Black unity. They hate this. They hate that. That's not what they hate. You are totally missing it if you believe this nonsense. This is nothing but to pull numbers, draw people in to help perpetuate agendas of retaliation and fake calling and fake divine placement. This is why they do this. The world is being conditioned to walk in the illusion of unity and fake righteousness. We talked about this earlier. This is why I get these messages from Facebook, Instagram. I got booted off of LinkedIn, YouTube, got put in YouTube prison twice, right? Because I'm violating their community standards. Again, what community? I can't touch it. I can't drive there. I can't even call the community and say I'm coming. What community? It's all about creating this illusion of righteousness, this illusion of unity. Don't talk about these certain things because they're too offensive to people. And if you do, then they're going to eventually pull your page down or block your content, give you a strike or so forth and so on, right? Stop your, what do they call that? Monetization, block you from getting paid, right? It's a big deal for a lot of people today. That's why they put so much stupid content out there because, if they actually start sobering up and telling people the truth, they're going to lose subscribers and funds. This is why an image like this shocked people when I shared it. Shocked them so much they came on and commented and said, brother, this ain't righteous. Screw this image, brother. What are you doing? So forth and so on. I don't understand. You have this pride about you now. All of a sudden, you seem to be very prideful. The way of truth will be hidden. Okay, not everybody gonna understand it and receive it. But that's why when it come out, they're like, oh my goodness, did he share that? I thought he was a humble brother. What is he doing? Causing division among the people. This ain't of Yahuwah. This ain't of his way. This ain't of his word. Most people leave church but hold on tightly to church doctrine. Yes, they do. Don't get it twisted. Don't believe anything other than a reality that has always been the case. When the people left to come see Yahusha in the wilderness, to see Yahukahanan in the wilderness, to go on a long journey with him, they brought church doctrine with them. They brought church mentality with them. Again, that's why he told them very clearly, the mysteries of the kingdom of Shemaim is not for you. It's for those whom it has been given. Church doctrine teaches you what? Just love on them. Bring them on in. Love them. Hug them. Come as you are. Don't you change. You come on up in here with that tight dress on, showing about everything. Come on up in here, brother, with your pimp suit and your shirt unbuttoned with your taco meat hair showing. And your long chain. Come on up in here with your pants sagging. Come on up in here with that thought process that you just need to say JC and then go back to the club next weekend. Come on. Love on them. Don't speak against no sins. Don't call out no evils. And you darn sure better not do that in front of the people. Can two walk together except they agree? No, they cannot. Amos 3:3. They cannot walk together except they agree. They cannot walk together except they are on the same page. Ooh, yes, except they are on the same page. That's why the walk you got, if you were truly on the narrow path, is so lonely. Because you cannot walk with people who cannot walk with you. Those who walk together and believe one thing while another believes something totally different, and I'm talking about the fundamentals of truth, the fundamentals of the actual makeup of Yahuwah, the reason they walk together and they don't simply agree is because at the basis of it all, they agree. What do they agree with? Compromise. You don't know how many times somebody said, brother, we just gonna have to agree to disagree. Well, I tell you, brother, that's nowhere in the word. You just spoke. The devil just started speaking when your mouth opened up. Yes. Elijah had petitioned Yahuwah for rain to fall on the nations. The truth says Eliyahu was a man with a nature like ours, but he petitioned earnestly that it would not rain, and it did not rain on the land for 3 years and 6 months. He petitioned again, and the Shemayim gave rain, and the earth produced its fruit. This is not Amos, but this is in the word. Okay. Elijah petitioned for judgment to fall on his own rebellious people. Do you think they was enjoying Elijah's content? Do you think they was enjoying his message? The man who was of the same people, who was a messenger of Yahuwah sent to be. He wasn't some person from the outside. He was actually from the lineage, the family of the people. Ask Yahuwah, don't give these people no rain. Do not allow their crops. 3 years with no rain, the animals died. The food stopped growing. People were perishing left and right. But today, brother, don't put no picture up of another brother kissing your boots. What is that? That's not love. That's not unity. Shut your mouth, because you don't know the word. Most people don't understand or reject the power of Yahuwah. And here's the verses to prove it. And a great multitude of women pleaded, and Barak, Shaul, or Paul on their knees kissed his feet and conducted him to the harbor. Acts of Kepha or Peter 2:3. And stood on his feet behind him, weeping, and she began to wash his feet with her tears and wiped them with the hairs of her head. And she kissed his feet and anointed them with the fragrant oil. Luke 7:38. Kings will be your foster fathers, and their queens will nurse your nursing mothers. They will bow down to you with their faces to the earth and lick up the dust from your feet. Then you will know that I am Abba Yahuwah, for they will not be ashamed who wait on me. Yashayahu, Book of Salvation, Book of Deliverance, Isaiah 49:23. And as they went to tell the taught ones, behold, Yahusha met them, saying, rejoice. So they came and they held him by his feet and bowed before him. Matthew 28:9. So she fell at his feet and said, oh, me, my master, on me let this iniquity be. And please let your maidservant speak in your eyes and hear the words of your maidservant. Samuel 25:24. The truth is embracing and kissing the feet of those whom Yahuwah has established is a historical, contextual, and scriptural sign of great humility. But when people with no discernment, flesh-led, looking for the one world order unity, see such of a Bantu individual having a IUSPK individual kissing his feet, they say, what is that? That's pride. No, it's not. It's called judgment on the earth. It's called wrath on the earth. And the people who were trying to finally escape the wrath come down humble before the people whom he has established. Yes, so it's a promise in the word. It's a constant portrayal shown to us in the word. So what are you talking about when you say it's pride? Basically, what you're saying is you don't know the word. You open up your mouth prematurely, or you just think you want to do what you want to do, which is, again, pride. That's what real pride is. Okay? Yes. The people who are claiming to be his chosen ones, following that fake Star of David nonsense, claiming the One West ideology, still saying God, LORD in the Great Awakening, don't get it twisted. That's no giant rising. That is doctrine of demons, as we known to be prophesied to saturate the earth in the end times, so that people can turn away from sound doctrine and give heed to deceiving breaths and doctrines of demons, of devils. However, these are the last days, and mankind is filled with tremendous pride and cannot even recognize it. This is what they told you pride was in school and church and camps and so forth and so on. This is pride. People living those abominable lifestyles. A leader of a nation who don't have seem to have no remorse about what leaves his mouth. They say this is pride. No, this is judgment. This is abomination. This is the aftermath of what pride does. Yes. Let's see if you can discern prideful doctrine. Let's see. Here's a test for those who are listening. This is taken from the IUIC website. It's called the Men of Valor Training. And the purpose is to build, they say the purpose is to build Israelite men up mentally and spiritually to become prophets of God. That's what the purpose of this program is for. Okay? It talks about physical and mental wellness, teaching, and Camp 101, right? So they basically break it down. I skipped all the other fluff and I went down to the bottom where it says Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 9. Then he said unto me, prophesy upon the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus says, of course, the Bible's people use, it says Lord God, right? So we're going to put Yahuwah there. Almighty Yahuwah, Master Yahuwah, we're going to put that there. And we're going to go back and read it again. Then said he upon me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, bond of mine, extension of mine, and say to the wind, thus says Abba Yahuwah. Thus says who? Then he said unto me, who said unto the messenger? The elder? The deacon? The officer? The captain? Right? Or was it Yahuwah who spoke to the person whom he had raised up and sent? When did a messenger of Yahuwah need someone to build them up to be his messenger? I need an example in the word. One example, one verse, one prophecy that says such will ever take place. Nowhere in the word. But they say the people are afraid of this great rising that's happening. Yeah, no, they're not. We're going to find out what they're really afraid of. Before you were born, I consecrated you. I ordained you a messenger to the nations. Jeremiah 1:5. The word says that he was raised up by Yahuwah. He had already ordained him before he was born. Yahuwah not stupid. The Almighty Yahuwah don't fall asleep at the wheel. He has a method to the madness and a plan as written before man was even created. He had people preserved in the wings before they came through their parents' loins. But all of a sudden, we have men of valor who are being taught how to become messengers of Yahuwah, or God, actually. Someone else. Yeah. Oh, they use Yah too. I've seen several of them speak Yah, right? They don't want to be excluded altogether, right? Yeah. All on the corners, pulpits, so forth, in the internet. I'm sure you all see them. Men, prophets that trying to portray that these are prophets from the Almighty. They went through their one-on-one course, their men of valor training to be able to go out on the corner and be a messenger. Same thing with IUSPK, right? International School. I still don't remember what that stands for, right? Practical knowledge or something like that. I don't know what the U stand for. University? I don't know. But anyways, they're on the corners giving the truth, right? They're on the internet telling people what time it is, the home of truth. Well, here it is, the International School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Yeah. With the fake made up concocted Star of David, which is nothing but a star of a demon. Okay. Self-appointed. That's all they are at the end of the day. Self-appointed. Right? I can have a whole training for moving mindset ministry and get you on board and have you do some courses. And then I go grade your exams. And once I see your exams, you pass all the right questions, I can hand you a certificate. And then you were supposed to be certified to be a messenger. But guess what? If Yahuwah didn't do it, he didn't command it, it's not in his word, then you're still a self-appointed messenger. Period. You self-appointed yourself to my classes. And I just signed off on the paperwork. You self-appointed yourself to study to get the certificate. No one got a certificate of training in the word. Nowhere can you find that. This is why judgment will continue to devour the masses. For many great miseries will be done to them in the later times who dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. 2 Ezra 8:50. Pride is doing what you desire to do. You think anybody afraid of you because you prideful? Because you do what you please to do? Really? Go back and read the word, beloved. I encourage you to read the examples in the word. The people of the nations, the Gentiles who hated Yahshua, who opposed the people, never gave a hoot about the people being prideful. There was not a concern that they feared. In fact, they wanted the people to be prideful, to do what they wanted to do, because the people of the nations could never stop them. No matter how great their armies were, no matter how strategic their tactics were, they could never stop them. They knew, however, that if they can get the people to walk in self-pride, to practice their ways, then they would destroy their own self. Do not confuse the false doctrine of blacks with the prophetic blindness of Yasharel. This has been done plenty of times over, and some of you may think this reality. This is the actual reality of the word, but it is not. How do you know? But my people would not hear my voice, and Yasharel would have none of my ways. What does that mean? They didn't want to do Shabbat. They didn't want to do the appointed times. They were not reading the Torah. They were not trying to dress like the people. They didn't want any of him. So he gave them over to their own stubborn heart to walk in their own counsel, which was separate from his counsel. Psalm 81, 11 through 12. The rebellion of Yasharal and Yahudah were not, the rebellious of house of Yasharal and Yahudah were not trying to do the right thing at all. Okay, they were not trying to find the appointed times. They were not trying to establish organizations in a 501c3 status to bring people into righteousness. Bond of man, you dwell in the midst of a rebellious house, which has eyes to see, but cannot see, ears to hear, but cannot hear, for they are a rebellious house. Yahaskel, Ezekiel 12:2. If they were a rebellious house that could have eyes, but could not see, ears, but could not hear, then they would not even attempt to create a half walk with Yahuwah. They can't see it. They cannot hear it. They are a rebellious house. He didn't say, son, he didn't say, bond of men, you dwell in a rebellious room of a righteous house. The whole house was jacked up. This is the difference between being blind by Yahuwah. There is a difference between being blind, made blind by Yahuwah, and selectively seeing and practicing your version of what he commanded. The nations do not fear your numbers, knowledge, threats, unity, training, or prepping. They don't fear none of that. They're not concerned about any of that. I talked to a brother that was from the Nation of Islam. And I was telling them, I said, you know, you people speak against XYZ. They don't, why do you think they allow that? He says they can't stop us because it's our freedom of speech. What? Yo, freedom of speech? How come Yahushua didn't get no freedom of speech? You know what I'm saying? How come they wanted to kill him every time he said something that contradicted policy, rules, government, laws? The Pharisees, Sadducees, and the scribes. Yes. But all of a sudden, here we are now in America, and the Nation of Islam cannot stand the government, cannot stand the so-called oppressor. Says that they can't be stopped because they have the legal right to freedom of speech. Found this on IUIC website. I shared it some time ago. All right. They do not like the fact that they are being talked about. Defamation of character. Right. They're bringing down. They don't like the people talking about what they really are. Right. Perpetuating in the way that they don't believe they are. So they put this notice up. You'll see it if you go on their website. It's the first thing that pops up. Little notification. And part of it says all parties are warned that any future publications of false or statements will be prosecuted. Who are they going to prosecute? Who's going to prosecute? They got a court. They got a court of their own. They're going to go down to Superior Court, and they're going to file a complaint about people talking about them with the government, the oppressor, the white man. The people who don't like them, the people they don't like, the people scared of them because they coming together unit. You're going to go to them people and you're going to ask the oppressor to give you justice because people are talking about you. Man, get out of here. Woe to the rebellious children, says Yahuwah, who take counsel, but not from me, who devise plans, but not of my breath, that they may add sin to sin, who walk to go down to Egypt and have not asked for my advice, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh. What did Yahuwah say he's going to take his people back to? In Deuteronomy chapter 8, last verse, he said, I'm going to take you back to Egypt in ships. Yes. And to trust in the shadows of Egypt. That's what they doing. I'm going to file a complaint with Egypt because y'all talking about us. Therefore, the strength of Pharaoh will be your shame. And trust in the shadow of Egypt will be your humiliation. Who are going to use Egypt to embarrass you? That's what he's going to do. My green screen falling apart over here. It's too hot in this room. Yeah. Said the green screen like, let me out. It's hot. Yeah, they're going to go down to Egypt. I don't know how many cases they filed, if they filed any today, if it was a bluff or they really trying to do it. But either way, they want Egypt, the oppressor. Caesar Borgia. Am I saying that name correctly? That guy. They want that guy's people to give them, come on. They want that guy's people to give them justice because they being talked about. Yes, again, they don't fear this. They don't fear it because they're part of the system. This is why you don't see a massive campaign by the nations to take them out. They don't fear them one bit. All that fluff, oh, they scared. They scared because black men coming together, they unified. No, they not. No, they not. Believe me, if they was some kind, if they thought you was a threat, they already would have dismantled your organization. Go back and look at, we're going to look at one of them. We're going to look back and look at the Black Panthers. I got to meet Shakur when I worked in the federal prison. Yes, it's probably going to help this thing get shadow banned even more, but I got to meet Shakur. And he explained to me what really happened. And I thought, man, the guy was just, mad that he locked up. But sure enough, years later, the awakening take place. My eyes get open. Truth that was always been there becomes made plain. And bam, that's what they did. See, the Black Panthers was a threat to the system because they didn't need or no longer desire to run alongside the system. They were trying to police their own communities. They didn't tolerate prostitution, drug dealing, gang banging in their own communities. But that's not the narrative you hear about in the mainstream. It was a terrorist organization, yeah, because they was terrorizing the belief system that the captives had no place to do anything but be under the captors. I also spoke to Zedekiah, king of Yehuda, according to all these words, saying, bring your necks under the yoke of the king of Babylon and serve him and his people and live. Jeremiah 27:12. The people then did not want to do that. They didn't want to get up under the leadership, the control, the regulation of the Babylonians. Yahuwah sent Jeremiah to them to say, listen, humble yourself. You're not going against the Babylonians. You're going against the one that sent you there. Humble yourself and get up under that yoke. What is happening then is happening now. They on the corner. What are they saying to the Babylonians? AKA the nations, the Gentiles. What are they saying? Oh, we're not going to do this. You below us. You going this and that. Captivity for y'all. We going free. And such and such and such and such. Right? I even... I have like this free Pandora subscription, so I'll be trying to search through there for some awakened music, Yahuwah music, and this nonsense. These guys be coming up with their music, cussing the white man out, in between saying yeah. And it will be that the nation of the kingdom which will not serve Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, and which will not put its neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon, that nation I will punish. Woo! I hope you take heed to this reality. Talking about they scared of you. Says Yahuwah with, how will he punish them? The sword, the famine, the pestilence, until I have consumed them by his hand. Jeremiah 27:8. Man, when I first read this, I was like, knowing that America is Babylon / Egypt, because it's so easy. Again, we talked about this in a study last week. We talked about it in a post about how it's so easy to look out into the earth and see all the so-called wicked people, the wicked Gentiles, the wicked nations. But Yahuwah said, I'm going to give you the sword, I'm going to give you the famine, and I'm going to give you sickness and disease by the hand of King of Babylon. Woo! Not his hand. Listen, not his hand. He said, I'm going to give it to you through his hand. Well, the sword. Black man fatally shot by Madison police. How many times have you heard this story? Ongoing, right? Famine. Facts about hunger in black communities in 2023. 1 out of 4 black people in the United States experience food insecurity. Black people are twice as likely to face hunger. Black families are far more likely to experience poverty. He said, I'm going to give you the famine. I'm going to give you the sword. He said, I'm going to give you the pestilence too. Who remembers this? Tuskegee syphilis study from 1932 to 19, hold on, what did that say? Yeah, 1932 to 19, that's a long time. 72 in Alabama. Literally telling folk, listen, we're going to come down here and give y'all some vaccine, help y'all out, make sure y'all stay healthy. All the while they testing it with syphilis. So on the surface level, you look at it and you say, man, these people evil. These people rotten. These people wicked. Oh yeah, that's true. But why did it happen? Why did it take place? He said, I'm going to punish you if you don't want to get up under the leadership of the Babylonians. Sword, famine, and pestilence. Yet the people say they scared of the unity of the so-called black people coming together today. But we just read a post of how many people dying and suffering and dying over there in Atlanta, like a literal repeat of LA and Atlanta with AIDS and HIV. Come on. Better wake your butt up. Let's look at a glimpse of what the nations truly fear. What they truly fear. We're going to look at a snippet, a glimpse, not the whole piece of it, but just a little bit. Who remembers Tulusa, Black Wall Street story, right? The most successful and wealthy independent black community in all of American history. And at the time, they were the richest black community in the nation. Okay. They even called it Little Africa. Why was that? Because they needed nothing the nations depended on, or the nations offered. They had everything from hospitals, hotels, law enforcement. They policed their own, they provided for their own welfare, you name it. The entire system was ran, controlled, supported, and governed by so-called black people. However, despite all the great success this happened to have, we know there was a complete shift, bombing the buildings, burning it to the ground, right? The narratives was there were, gangs and terrorists and so forth and so on that went in there. This is obviously before there was social media, so people could just go on and be like, oh, we live. Look what's going on, XYZ, right? So by the time they finally executed this atrocity and the news got out, it was if, it was just a bunch of evil, crazy, violent black people tearing up stuff, and we had to come in and set them straight. And this is the aftermath that took place. But of course, tons of people who descend, or even those who were a part of this that were still alive, preserve the realities of what happened. Preserve the realities of what took place. Little Africa was on fire. Okay, why did that take place? The nations fear total detachment from the system. That's what they fear. They don't fear you with your 501c3 organization because you part of them. The low Joes on the totem pole, yeah, they're gonna fight you, argue with you, get mad because you look like you coming up, get mad. Yeah, That's meant to happen, right? Because they done bit on the darn deceptive burger of racism too. So they down there with you in that same nonsense. But the people that really ensure your checks get cut and you ain't got to pay no taxes on it, the people that ensure these systems continue to flow, right, on the corners and so forth and so on, they don't fear you because you rocking the same. You saying black JC, they saying white JC. Y'all in the same category. Okay. What they dread is when you completely detach yourself from a system. Waking up is one thing. We woke. Oh, I'm woke. I see you now. I see the light. I'm woke. I'm chosen. This, that. Whatever the case may be. Nobody afraid of you being awake. In fact, you're not even no threat when you wake up. Yeah, don't let the Jason Bourne and all these people wake up out their sleep, get that gun ready, pop, pop, you know what I'm saying, put the round, stop it. They're not afraid of that. You wake up, you incoherent for the most part. You tell them, what? Chosen. In time. They're not afraid of that. What they terrified is when you finally disconnect yourself from the system. That's when you become a threat. Look at this platform. I've been talking to people for some years. Why this thing don't ever grow nowhere? Why my posts keep getting taken down, shadow banned? Why they keep telling me I'm violating community standards? I don't just say the hell with his age because it sounds good. Sounds like it's the guy's on fire. No, the hell with his age, period. I'm detached. I don't need to, man, what can this thing do for me? How can I make it through this system? Okay. I don't alter the truth to make sure people can hear it better. Yeah, but when you finally pull them prongs from your darn head that got you thinking about this, that, and the other that's inconsistent with total surrender to Yahuwah, you an enemy. You are a literal threat. And when you smash that jump and you sever the connection where they cannot reattach to you again, look out. You became an enemy to these people. Yes. I don't know how many of you have watched these studies. When I came after our family had lost their home, right? It was a heck of a storm for us, right? Enemy came in, one thing after the other. We lose a home and we lose all our stuff. Fighting to keep it. Again, I wasn't sitting around playing video games, petitioning for a miracle. I was working, trying to keep it. Lost it all anyway, right? And then I came back. After when I lost it all, we lost it all. I said, I'm not doing any more messages, right? It hit me that hard. I had almost like an Elijah experience. I'm going up in the mountains. I don't deal with this junk no more. Did all that and still lose my house. Did all that and we homeless. All that I got to travel in this broke down vehicle from Georgia to California. I ain't saying nothing to nobody. But I got convicted. I got sent back. And I'm telling you the type of errors and twists and challenges and things that were happening in the airways. When I was trying to do the studies, sound would stop, the video would cut off. All kind of things took place. I put together the content and the thing is where to go. But when you become a totally detached person from the, I don't mean quit your job. Okay. I don't mean go sit out in the corner, wait for the rapture. None of that nonsense. What I'm saying is you no longer tie yourself to organizations, systems, and beliefs that the world doesn't come against. You are a threat. What happens when you totally detach from the system? If you return to Yahuwah with all your heart, not 3/4, not 3/4, not a half, not 78 to 70% of that, all your heart. Then put away the foreign mighty ones and the ash demons from among you, and prepare your hearts for your Yahuwah and serve him only, and he will deliver you from the hands of the Philistines. Okay. 1 Samuel 7:3. That's what the people was told. He said, detach yourself from every aspect of the system. Every perpetual thought process of the system, detach yourself entirely. He said, once you do that, then I'm going to deliver you. So the children of Yasharel put away the false mighty ones and serve Yahuwah only. Chapter 7, verse 4. That's what they did. They said they put away it all. They was like, we're not having any bit of this nonsense. All of it, done, gone, detached, unplug, out of the matrix. Can't grab me no more. I don't hear nothing you got to say. I'm out. I'm going to Yahuwah 100%. Yahuwah struck the Philistines and threw them into confusion before Yasharah. So the Philistines were subdued, and they did not come anymore into the territories of Yasharah. 1 Samuel 7:10 through 13. Yes, that's what happened. That's what happens when you fully detach yourself. The enemy cannot do what he used to do to you. He becomes subdued to you. You become the authority over the enemy. But they scared because you coming together in the same name your oppressor taught you. The devil is a liar. They won. Not because they were strong, not because they had numbers, not because their tactics were smooth, not because they had a very profound and well put together men of valor criteria for a certificate, but because they fled every bit of the false mighty ones and came to Abba Yahuwah 1000%. The nations don't fear you. They dread your total submission and complete dependency on the Almighty Yahuwah. That's what they choose. That's what they fear. That's what they dread. They don't look at you and say, oh, that's a strong, fit black man. Oh, that's an intelligent black man. Oh, that's an intelligent person from the tribes. Stop that nonsense, because it ain't nowhere in the word. Yes. I will give you shepherds according to my own heart who will feed you knowledge and understanding. Knowledge and understanding. Not just knowledge, but understanding. What the heck is the point of having all that knowledge but you don't understand nothing? What wisdom? What sense? How does that add up? But again, how many people are hearing knowledge over and over and over again and don't understand? Let's go back to what the verse says. And I will give you. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, not the certs, not the degree in college, not the long study, not the Google AI or Chat GPT AI put together content. He said, I will give you shepherds. Shepherd is what? Overseers. According to his heart. What is his heart? Serve me only with every bit that you have in you. Yes. Some people call themselves messengers, speaking in the name of Yahuwah, and they serve YouTube at the same time. Sure, I can't put that out because YouTube gonna block my account. Yeah. They got two masters, and it's apparent the one they hate. He said, I'm going to put people in front of you who are going to give you both knowledge and understanding, and that when he speaks, Yahuwah speaks, it comes from his heart. And when it comes from his heart, spoken through the one he actually put out there as a shepherd, the people will have both knowledge and understanding. They will feed it to them. And they will eat it. And they will benefit from it. So many people over here just chomping down on knowledge and ain't got no understanding. What's wrong with that picture? I'm talking to you people as well who be emailing me. Oh, don't take it as pride. Take it as somebody trying to help you out. You emailing me and you asking me these questions that are clearly in the word. Many of the times the word you ask, the things you asked me for, Yahuwah had given to me sometimes the same day you asked it. And the day before. How is it that you don't understand? Because unfortunately, some of you watch and listen to people who come in their own name. And now you receive the very message, the very judgment that they receive. I'm not telling you to only listen to me. I'm telling you to check your ears, your eyes, your heart, and what are you doing? Where do you hear a lot? People sat to hear what Elijah said and then ran over to hear what Obadiah said. Where do you hear that at? Yeah. Discernment comes from his breath. Do you have it? The nations fear the man Yahuwah uses to lead, that leads the people completely away from this dying age. That's what the nations fear. You have to remember that the word says that Hashatan always wanted to be like Yahuwah. So if he always wanted to be like him, then guess what? He need people to follow him. Yes. So when people start pulling away from him and pulling and being that sign in the road, that light of Abba Yahuwah on the path that points to him and him only, that's not a good thing in the eyes of Hashatan and his failing and will soon be forever defeated system. Yes, we talk about it a lot, and I'm gonna keep on driving it, and I'm gonna beat it down to the end because that's exactly what the messengers are called to do. What is the point of standing on the wall if you got a niche, or you speak in terms of temporal or roller coaster revelation and rebuke? No, they were consistent. They didn't flee the realities. They made it known to the people over and over and over again. The same truth, the same reality, unchanged. Because this is what lead the people astray. They had already lost their kingdom. It had already been destroyed, and they were in captivity. Scattered people. What was the threat? The messengers who were sent, who he did not send. And now the threat is truly great. Because these same people are talking about they fear you because you've chosen. Yeah, I don't see that in the word. They fear the house of Yasharal when they came out of Egypt because they were walking under the leadership. Moshe was leading the people with the Malak, the messenger, before them to go in and destroy the wicked. But when the people were taking stuff and putting it in their tent, they ain't got no business doing. Did they fear them? No, they went to war with them. And what did Ai do? Whoop on them. Because Achan's rebellion. During captivity and scattering, Yahuwah sent messengers among his people, but he never raised up a governor from the tribes to rule Yasharal as an independent nation. Never did that. Never did it. So who are these people rising up as leaders from these different Hebrew Israelite organizations to govern the people? He never did that. He sent them messengers, and that was it. The purpose of those overseers when they were in captivity were to distribute the information or what Yahuwah wanted. Go back and read the first Exodus. Moshe in captivity had spoke to the leaders. In your so-called Bibles, you'll see elders. And they were the ones who disseminated the information among the tribes because Moshe obviously wasn't speaking to the whole people as if he had a microphone and it was thousands of them in there. So he had to use them to speak. Today, these people claim to be his leaders, call themselves elders, deacons, captains, so forth and so on. And then they put themselves in positions of so-called leadership. You supposed to, and you going, and this is how this is, and so forth and so on. And they do it telling the people, listen, they scared of you. That's why they hate you. Stupid. Yahuwah said, I will bring you and the king whom you placed over you to a nation which neither you nor your fathers have known, and there you will serve other mighty ones, wood and stone. Deuteronomy 28:26. He said, I'm taking your butt and your king to go do what? Serve other mighty ones. Meaning you're going to come up under another people. So mean they weren't scared of you, and they ain't scared of you now. Fake giant rising up nonsense. This is why they keep giving you your leaders. Yahuwah didn't raise up none of these people. Don't get it twisted. These people were placed over you to get you to vibe with their narrative, their agenda. That's it. That's it. They had to make them as relatable as possible to the so-called black people. Hmm. Yes. To get you to buy into the agenda. Yes. Imagine if they had made someone your leader from Asia. Yeah. With all the hate, right? How many people have to struggle to receive the other, you know, Gentiles, Joe Biden and Trump and all that. Yeah, they got to come out with so many different. If you're not, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Vote for me. What do you got to lose? So forth and so on. They got to do all this stuff to try to win you over. They didn't have to do this for many so-called black people. All they had to do is come in with this change, freedom, justice. You get to vote, right? Give you a discount on your taxes and so forth and so on. Yada, yada, yada. That's enough. All right, they're going to vote. Why? Because they look like them. Look like the come up time. Look like the Negro finally making it because we got a black man in office. And they believe the narrative so hard, so when the evidence come out about Big Mike, they all mad. Why you talking like that, brother? What's wrong with you? Grow up. What you talking about? That's what he said. He called her Big Mike. Obama called her Big Mike. He only said what the other lady said that lost her life because she came out and said the truth. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The nations fear the fear of Yahuwah resting over you. They don't fear nothing else. They don't fear nothing else. They don't fear your numbers. They don't fear, you look like you didn't because you reading the Bible now. No. No. They fear the fear of Yahuwah resting over you. What did Yahuwah tell Moshe to tell the people? He said, I'm going to send my fear before you everywhere you go. And the nations are going to be terrified of you because his fear rested upon the people. Not because they read the Bible, not because they all had on the same colors, because they actually was under the mighty hand of the most majestic one. They dreaded that because they were unstoppable. Whatever Yahuwah said they can have, the enemy had to give it up. And if they fought for it, they knew it was over. They were going to lose. As long as the hand of Yahuwah, his fear rested over the people. Someone spoke to me at Wally World the other day. I was in the checkout line with my family, a lot of my family members, as far as my kids and my brother-in-law and a cousin and a nephew. And she came to me as I was, getting ready to pay. And she said, I got to share something with you. She said, God had dropped this on her. She was sitting in her car and she saw us get out of the car. I'm like, Dan, I didn't see you. I must losing my touch. Because, I'll be looking. Who watching me? When she said she got out of the car, she saw us get out of the car. She looked and she actually said, how come they hate us so much? How come they despise us? And she saw us and she said the revelation she receives is because they're not like us. Meaning we carry a sense of authority, a sense of shalom, a sense of direction that the nations don't have. Now, mind you, I've had this interaction several times. People come up and commend me and my kids and all this several times. But the truth is, it wasn't simply because we carry a certain aroma, if you will. The truth is, they hate the fear of Yahuwah resting over you. Mm-hmm. Because when I look at what you probably see too, the young black kid robbing the store, the young the gangbanger out here doing whatnot, the dope dealer, I don't see the cops scared to put the whooping on them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They obviously don't like it, but do you really think it's because you're black, or they not like us that they fear you? No. When you are walking by the breath of Yahuwah and you reject any and all this world has to offer, and you are truly, and I'm talking from the heart, truly, mhm, truly after his heart, they're terrified. They fear you. Don't mistake like that one page that was out. Somebody shared uh, a post with me that some, white and proud Facebook group said that they're going to start contaminating food with their body parts and all this stuff in hidden corners because they're upset with black people standing up for the kid that went to I don't all that. It's like, yeah, them are the low budget, low end stupid people. Okay, those who run the nations, those who really understand what's happening and know that they are not going to receive the promises and judgment that is coming up on them. Whoo! You saying you don't want the 501c3 IUIC ideology? You're saying you don't no longer support the patriotic views? You're not looking for America to turn around again? You literally want to go home to the promised land? You desire deep within you the Exodus? You want the Torah and everything that it offers? You are the person whom they fear, because Yahuwah has now rested his breath, his fear upon you. And you are a light that can lead people, Hebrew and Gentile, out of darkness. Yes. So don't believe the hype. Don't believe the nonsense. This is what they dread. I know a lot of people don't like that. I saw some of the little ridiculous comments about all people human and black skin. It ain't even about that. This is a message of discernment for the people who want it. If you think this is about skin color, segregation, and all that stupid stuff, that's on you. I can't help you with that. Yahuwah has a special people. He picked them. They matched the Deuteronomy 28 curses. They're the people whom he had promised to. The people, they overshadow the nonsense. Oh, you're so athletic. Look at the athleticism. Oh, they can sing. They can dance. They can do all that stuff. Yeah, that's not why he chose them. By no stretch of the imagination. There is a narrow path that we must travel, and if we want to get to the promised land, we need to get up on that. If we want to be preserved in the end time judgments, we need to get up on it. If we want to see him, we want to hear him say, "Well done," we need to get up on it. And that narrow path excludes all your perspectives, opinions, theologies, philosophy, reason, logic, willful sins, science, worldly religion, fear, unbelief, etc. It's not an easy road. It's difficult. That's why people leave. They look out and they say, whoa, 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 whoa. This is what it is? Oh, you mean he got a chosen people and I got to believe that? Oh, I got to come into the house, but I got to do it through the tribe of Yahudah if I want to stand in his presence? Oh, you mean I can't do this my way? I can't. You mean he has to actually send messengers? He raises up. So you mean I can't go get a seminary certificate? I got to flee all the church doctrine. I can't be saying God, Lord, and all that nonsense. Hey, I didn't make the narrow path. I just believe it. And yeah, it's hard. I know it's hard. It's difficult. You know how long it took me to finally get God off my palate, my tongue? As far as actually saying the word, the name, the entity. Hey, it's a challenge. It's called pruning. It's called purging. It's called detox. It's called clean it up. Clean it up. You waiting to get to the wilderness to clean it up, you ain't gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. You might as well just go and do whatever you want to do, because you're not gonna make it. He said, get up under the blood in the place of judgment. That's what he said, do. So if you don't get up under that cleansing, you don't make the decision to get up under there, that's on you, not me. I petition that you do. I hope that you do. And I hope you stay there. But you choose anything else, that's your choice, not mine. Yahuwah will be esteemed for all the realities which he given us to see, to hear, and to carry out, for our love for him, for our love for his mercy and his favor that he continually pour out on his people, both natural and wild branches. When you join yourself to Yahuwah, you come into his family, period. You are one of his children. You don't become a tribe member. Get up out that spiritual tribe member doctrine nonsense. You become his child in his house, in the place in which he's established for you. Yahuwah will be esteemed for this study, for this reality. Join us for the after study tomorrow, Shabbat, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, movingmindsetministry.org. Click on the group study tab, see what we talk about, which is, this study, other questions, testimonies, petition requests, confessions, right? Testifying about the things you shouldn't have been doing, right? Finally letting the stuff out. Come on and join us, all right? We do about a 2 hour discussion. You ain't got to stay on that long. Get on, say what you got to say, roll out. You will be esteemed. For those who give to this ministry, that means you being obedient to Yahuwah, not me, because I didn't ask you for nothing. And he speaks to you and you obey him. So you who will be esteemed for that reality. He alone is worthy. I'm not just a vessel, willing vessel, but I'm just a vessel. You alone be lifted high. Remember, beloved, if you haven't already, get your copy of When a Man is Fed Up. Rebuilding the man you were created to be. This is for all men. You got some teenage boys coming up in this world. You want to put some good seeds into them. Get your copy. MovingMindsetMinistry.org. When a Man is Fed Up. Also available on Amazon, but again, discounts are at the website. All right. Hey, walk it out. Don't fake it. Look at my green screen tripping, taking off running. It's like, let me out of here. You talk too much. You will be esteemed. We're going to walk this thing out, y'all. We're going to walk this thing out. We're going to walk it according to the truth. We're not going to tuck tail. We're not going to draw back to perdition. We're not going to do none of that stuff. We're going to honor him through and through, from the beginning to the end, period. Why go through all this and not hear him say, well done, my good and loyal servant? Why? What's the point of that? Might as well quit now if you ain't going to go all the way. Let's run on and see what the end going to be. You know what I'm saying? Let's see those things. He said, no eye has seen, the ear has prepared, neither has entered into the hearts of men, those things that Yahuwah has prepared for those who truly, truly, truly love him. And ain't no way you don't love him, but you don't obey him. Love and obedience are like that. You can't separate the two. Yes, they go hand in hand. All right, hey, walk it out. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Don't fake it, because you ain't going to make it. Honor him, for he has a name to uphold and a reputation to keep. He cannot and he will not fail. Yahuwah be lifted high. Remember, always be less. Reduce yourself so he may increase you when he says it's time.
When